London Cycleway 3, previously known as Superhighway 3, is a high-quality, segregated cycle path that runs through the heart of London, from beyond Canary Wharf in the east to just by Hyde Park in the west. Along the way, you can see Big Ben, Parliament, St Paul's Cathedral, Westminster Abbey, the Supreme Court, Whitehall, the Shard, Marble Arch, Green Park, St James's Park, Kensington Palace Gardens, New Scotland Yard, the Tower of London, Buckingham Palace, the Mall, the Thames, the London Eye, Churchill, Gandhi, Lincoln, Tower Bridge, London Bridge, Westminster Bridge, and a bunch of other bridges. In the east, Cycleway 3 starts at Barking, which is absolutely miles away. From here, it runs to close by the docklands of Canary Wharf. That's the part of the East End that was once docks full of flour, sugar and shipbuilding, and is now banks and big buildings. We're not going to focus on this part. Not because we don't like Barking, but because this stretch is for hardened bike commuters, and because it looks like this, and this, and this. But by the time you can see Canary Wharf, things are starting to look much better. In fact, they're looking really rather lovely. More of that later. From Canary Wharf, C3 heads down Cable Street to the Tower. It then zips down the north bank of the Thames, past the old City of London, and on to Westminster, on a glorious stretch along the Victoria Embankment. At Big Ben, C3 turns away from the river, down to Parliament Square, and onwards through 3 peaceful parks. Let's start at Tower. I know, it's annoying not to go in order, but the stretch from here to Big Ben is unmissable, and we can come back and look at Cable Street and Canary Wharf later. Just opposite the Tower is a stretch of the Roman London Wall, which means you're heading into the old City of London, the historic square mile that was the original London. This church is the ancient All Hallows, which has a claim to be the oldest church in the city and was rebuilt after being badly damaged in the Blitz. All along the route, if you've got a green light, your route is clear and no motor vehicle should be crossing your track. Some of the gaps at junctions are a little long. Just stick to the right side of the road and you can't go wrong. If you're lucky enough to get green lights, you get a nice gentle hill to speed you along after All Hallows. The river is just behind the buildings on your left, and the old City of London is in the streets to your right. Just on the right here is the monument to the Great Fire of London, which started near this point on what was Pudding Lane in a bakery. It has a brother monument, the Golden Boy of Pye Corner in Smithfield, where the fire stopped. According to the Golden Boy's inscription, the fire starting at Pudding Lane and stopping at Pye Corner was solid evidence of God's wrath for London's sinful gluttony. Then we're on to the second bridge, London Bridge, and then in quick succession, the Cannon Street Rail Bridge, Southwark Bridge, and the Millennium Footbridge, before you enter the rather peaceful and cool Upper Thames Street Tunnel. It's worth getting some speed up as you go down under Blackfriars Bridge, where you can pick up the north-south Cycleway 6 if you need to. After crossing the carriageway, you're on the Victoria Embankment, looking out over the Thames at King's Reach. From this point on, there's no more junctions to slow you down until Big Ben. There are useful traffic light connections up toward Covent Garden, Leicester Square, Soho, and the West End. We'll come back to some of these fun routes another time. After the lifeboat station and Waterloo Bridge, you pass the Savoy and Embankment pier and tube stations before passing under Hungerford Rail and Golden Jubilee footbridges. Victoria Embankment is reclaimed land. The Victorians used it to build a sewer under the street to stop sewage flooding into the Thames. That's now too small for modern London, which is why the Tideway Tunnel is being built beneath the river. One of the excavation shafts is behind these hoardings. One day it'll be covered over and provide a public space to look out over the Thames. Over the river, the London Eye dominates the view of the former Greater London Council building. On the opposite side is the Ministry of Defence, the UK's version of the Pentagon, with several memorial statues in its grounds. The original Scotland Yard that Sherlock Holmes knew is in the streets around here at 4 Whitehall Place, but the modern police headquarters has recently been moved to this butterscotch-coloured building. And that brings you smoothly to Big Ben, where you usually have to wait a while for the traffic lights.